Well, good morning, everybody. Hello. Hey, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. You are in our Stitchuation room, and this is a Monday through Friday virtual stitching retreat where you hang out with me in here in my sewing studio and follow me on my sewing journey. And I hope I can inspire you to put something under the needle or tidy or sort or purge or whatever it is that you've got going on in there. It is so great to see everybody here in the chat. Good morning. Good morning. Awesome. I am pointed this way so that first things first, we have to take care of the puppies. Okay, down here, there's Miss Frito right there, and Miss Dottie's over here. Y'all, when she looks up, her little ears stick straight up, and she's just as cute as can be. This right here is Frito. She is our 5-year-old rescue. Yes, baby girl. She's good. And this is Dottie. Frito is a Queensland stumpy tail cattle dog. Yes, she is. And Dottie is a cowboy corgi, kind of so new on the market that they don't even have them in the computer yet at the vet. So, all right, you ready? You guys had your treats and everybody's had their visit. You want your stick? All right, go brush your teeth. And Missy, here's one for you too. There's your baby. All right, go see. Come on. Come on. No, you're not going to do that. Okay, come get Dottie in a minute. She's decided that she wants to lay down right here by my table. So as soon as she finishes her stick, she'll go wander in there and go hang out with Daddy and Frito. Let's turn you around. My husband says, did you guys get thrown out? Hey, right here. Okay, I have got a mat on a mat. So this mat right here holds all the rest of my patterns. All the books are already in Book Buddy, and here are the patterns that are left. I just have 5 little stacks. All of my favorite designer patterns, my Amy Bradley designs. Here are the Elizabeth Hartman. These are little odd ones. I guess, I don't know what stack they would go on. Oh, applique patterns. And then my Texas patterns. So very cool. Everything. I'm glad to have this. I put this mat on a mat for this so that I could move these out of the way really easily when I wanted to talk to you guys about what's on the cutting mat. So awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys who are joining, new members. We appreciate that. Lady, yesterday there was a comment that let me turn this around so I can talk to you. You need a refill, Gretchen? All right, you go right ahead. We'll be here when you get back. We have a virtual kitchen, you guys, as every quilt retreat does. So wander in there, and there's no calories, which is very cool. Scotty Dog's running the kitchen, and Barbara's usually on coffee, and she's on top of that all the time. I love it. So Dottie, go see Frito. Go find Frito or Daddy. She'll go in a minute. No more. I have to do this. No more. She's like, oh, okay. So she's going to wander off. Dottie's just 10 weeks old. She's adorable. Yes. So, all right, you guys. Quick update. Oh, I was talking about memberships. Absolutely not required. The Stitchuation room is going to be here every day, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Central, as usual. Excuse me. But the membership is it's 99 cents a month, not a big deal. It's part of PTWT Nation membership, and it's going to allow you to see content that is not available to non-members. And in most of it will be snapplique lessons. I'm going to be snappliquing some of my projects, and snapplique is where you take a quilt pattern that was never intended to be an embroidery design, and you convert it into a machine embroidery design using the Brothers Scan and Cut. And I use Embrilliance embroidery software, and Embrilliance is it's on sale, and it has a 10% off coupon as well. And I've got a link to that right below in the description box. So you're going to get 1 video a month, okay? And it will have minimal editing, because I can't spend 8 hours editing videos. My doctor said no because of the knots in my shoulders, and my fingers went numb on the mousing because I'm not 25 anymore. And so you're going to get those videos, but there won't be any chat distractions, and You'll be able to ask questions below the video if you want. You can always email me if you have other questions and whatnot. But those are going to be for members only. But for the Stitchuation Room, free content, going to be here as long as I continue to do this. It's been 2 years already. So it's T from Texas says, it's okay. We're all 26. Woo, those days are gone. All right, so an update for those of you that are doing the Kimberbell's Enchanted Winter with me. I already received the embellishment kit and the pattern, obviously. The pattern is a download. I got mine from my girlfriend's quilt shop, and I've got a link to it below, but I think they're sold out. I'm pretty sure they're no longer available. So I emailed my contact at Kimberbell and said, what gives on the fabric, right? Because I ordered the fabric kit. And I was told that it's on a slow boat. So they are expecting it this month. Thank you, all of you who are joining the memberships. Yeah, so I am still waiting for my fabric kit as well. I had said, because they said this was going to be available in September. It is only the 3rd. Okay, we'll give it a little bit of time. But he was going to reach out to Maywood, who is the manufacturer of the fabric, and find out what's going on, where all that is, because then they have to get them all kitted up, right? So just want to let you know about that. I will not start this. Now, this is going to be something we sew together in the Stitchuation Room. So if I have ever said in the Stitchuation Room on a freebie, you know, the non-pay part of it's not membership, that I'm going to do something with you and we're going to stitch it together, I will do that. That's not going to be behind the membership. Okay. Just want to let you know that. Awesome. Awesome. Good to see everybody. Gosh, you guys, I love seeing, you know, I've been doing this for so long and I get out and about. I go to quilt shows. I teach classes, and I've got to get the dogs out of here because they're squeaking and they're fixing to start romping and playing again. And I don't need them doing that in my cords. So pardon me while I get these guys out of here. They're going to have to go. Yeah. All right. Come on, you guys. We're going to go out here. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Out here. All right. Out you go. Go get it. All right. Baby gates. Ugh. Whoever invented the baby gate. Fabulous. She's just standing there like this. Please let me in. Okay. So was late. What was I talking about? Memberships. Yes, Digital Designs by PJ. So I did open memberships on my channel, and memberships will have, thank you, Helen, for your super sticker. You love all my content. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So memberships are a recurring 99 cents a month. So $1.25, someone said in the chat, that's what Google is charging. Taxes in California, crazy. On there will be one video a month that is going to be like a private lesson following me on my snapplique journey. So for instance, let me get this. I'm going to do both of these quilts. I've got the boxes right here. Hold on. Oh, they're heavy. Oh, they're heavy. So I'm going to be doing both of these quilts. A Very Sweet Christmas. These are both from Bunny Hill Designs. This one and Moda's Prairie Days. Now, this quilt kit has been out a very long time, many, many years. So a lot of you have this sitting in your stash and you haven't done it yet, or you might have, which is amazing, but you did it the old-fashioned way with the applique. So I'm going to snapplique this. And for all of the blocks, I'll do like a block a month. You can follow along if you want, or you don't have to buy a kit. That's the neat thing. All you're doing is watching me do. Can you guys hear her? She's they're right outside my gate. Oh my gosh. But at least they're not in the cords. So, because a lady wrote me yesterday and she said, do I need to buy these kits? Well, these are hard to find. And I don't know about Sweet Christmas. I'm not sure how old that one is, but you don't have to. You can take the processes that I use doing mine and apply them to your own UFO applique projects, because I know y'all have a lot of them. So anyway, I love them too, but they're distracting for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So I also ordered, and I don't know if it's going to work. I got one of those rhinestone applicator doolollies. I don't know what this is. So this is a crafting thing I have never done, but I ordered this. I just want to tell you I got it. I don't know. I'm not going to recommend it in my Amazon store just yet because I don't know if it works. No idea. But I ordered it because I went off on this on a tangent, didn't I? This has rhinestones in it to go on that enchanted winter quilt. And I was like, oh, I need to get one of those because I looked at the pattern. Okay. So no kits. You don't have to purchase any kind of kits or anything like that. If we do private sew-alongs, I don't know that I'm going to actually do something like that. Usually the sew-alongs I do are on the free, no pay part of the channel. I've kind of made that decision because what if I can't finish it? And then you guys that are paying are going to be like, well, I'm paying for your membership. How come you didn't, I'm going for free on sew-alongs for sure. So on the memberships, you're just going to be watching me go through and do my snapplique process. And you'll be able to, there won't be, like I said, no chat distractions. And there's going to be minimal editing, right? If there's any editing at all, it'll be like where a long embroidery starts and finishes, and it'll kind of, you'll see it start and there'll be a fade and then it'll finish and that kind of thing. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know about that. All right. So today I'm working on firm foundation. Okay, so this can get confusing. A lot of you got this when it came out, and the panels for this quilt are very hard to find. So all right. The panel is called Things Above, or the quilt is called Things Above.
Turn on the turn button on this dog.
I'm telling you, Keith. Yeah, would you close my door because they're just yipping and yipping? I'd appreciate it. So Firm Foundation is the name of the pattern of this. Okay. So this is by My Wandering Path. This is a pattern, a quilt pattern by My Wandering Path using the Things Above fabric line. Right. And there's a little nose sticking through the doggy door flap and found the jail gate. So I am going through here, and I've been doing this couple of months now, and I took it with me on our 6-week trip last summer, and I didn't get very far. I only did one little piece of it, but I did go through, and I've done all but one church of the Ohio Star Blocks. Check out those points, y'all. How about that? Yeah. Will I still do snapplique for free in the Stitchuation room? I'm not entirely sure. Yesterday I said I might, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because I've got folks, there is so much free content of me doing snapplique in the Stitchuation room already, or pre-recorded videos. Y'all, I've been doing this for years. There's so much free content already out there. So I'm not sure. I've got a lot of other stuff, but I will be definitely doing embroidery content with you guys and scan and cut in the Stitchuation room for sure. All right. So each one of these churches, each chapel has 2 Ohio Star Blocks. So I have the last 2 that need to get done. They're already cut, and that'll be it for that. Barb's a new member. Hi. So I have got the panel. Now, this quilt takes 2 of these panels because there are only 6 sayings per panel. Okay. This is going to go to my son, who is a pastor in Colorado. So I had done Songbook, the next page from Moda, and did that quilt. Gorgeous fabric, gorgeous quilt. And did that and sent that to him. And that quilt is hanging in their fellowship hall. And so this now is going to be another quilt that hangs. Also, I went by yesterday to my chiropractor and collected the quilts. We did the Brightly sampler together. It was every Monday we did that together. And I made 2 quilts, a companion quilt. And one of them was made out of Stacy E. Shoe's farm fabric. That farm fabric one was hanging on the wall of my chiropractor. I just went by and picked it up yesterday. And I've got to take it on Saturday, the 13th, to the 4-H benefit. And we're going to auction it off. That'll be fun. I can't wait to show you guys, if it made more than 25 bucks. We'll see. All right. So on this particular quilt, you have to use, it's recommended. You don't have to. You can do this on your own. What did I do with these things? What did I do with them, y'all? It is called a tri-rect tool. Now, the tri-rect tool is a very old ruler set from Quilt House. It's from Easy Quilter, right? Easy Quilting. Tri-Rex tool created by Darlene Zimmerman and Joy Hoffman. These have been around a long time, y'all. There are videos out on YouTube for you to see how they're done. Connecting Threads has a really good one. It's about 5 minutes long, and it shows you exactly how to use these. I had to go look at that myself last night. So if you join later, are you able to see past content? So Josie, that's a really good question. Okay. Whoop, my bad, right here. Bonnie Hunter always uses these. Yeah. So what is out on YouTube right now is going to stay there. Yes, it's going to stay there. In the membership that I just started yesterday, which was kind of a fluke, I wanted to play with it, and I said, well, let me see what all this is about. And once I created it, I couldn't undo it. YouTube is like, oh no, you're committed now. So I was like, okay, here we go. So what is out on YouTube right now, for the most part, let me put that caveat on there, for the last 5 years is not going anywhere. Almost 6. Been around a long time. So to join, there's a subscribe, okay? And then there might be a drop down and join button as well. Okay, and that's how you do that. 99 cents a month. YouTube hosts the content. It's there for as long as you want. So if you don't want to pay the 99 cents a month, you're still going to be able to see pretty much everything that is on my channel until perpetuity, okay? Because I don't have to host it or edit it, and I like that. So let's get back to these things. So in this quilt pattern, there are a lot of instructions that tell you to take a square and cut it in half to create a half square triangle. And so you're going to diagonally cut a square and put it together with another diagonally cut different color fabric and create a half square triangle. I don't like that method. That is the most inaccurate method possible to me to make half square triangles. So on my other videos where I have shown how to make these, I used a completely different method, and look how accurate these are. Look at how the points meet in here just perfectly, every little bit. When I do, thank you for your sticker, Sandy. Thank you so much, sweetheart. So when I do these, I don't like to cut things on the diagonal and then sew them back together. If at all possible, I don't like to do that. So when I made these stars, I used that little 1/4 inch seam guide and drew down both sides and then stitched on those lines. And then cut them apart and opened them up. Different method works better for me. So the reason I don't like doing that, and this tells you to do it repeatedly in the pattern. Let me show you a picture where they tell you to do that. Where they want you to, right here, they want you to take 2 triangle pieces and sew them together. No, I don't do that. So when I do it, I'll be doing it, I'll show you when I'm sewing them and we'll do a different way. But the Trirex tool, you have to do it. You have to cut on the diagonal for these steeples, okay? For this right here, that steeple. This right here is a flying geese. That's different. That the top of the door is a flying geese. This is not. This is triangles in a rectangle. So enter tri-tool. Y'all, I went to sleep last night trying to think about, and then I woke up in the middle of the night and I started thinking about it again, how to create those steeples without using the tool. And it's hard. And do I know what degree ruler this is? No, I do not. I have no idea. Maybe it says so in here, but I don't think they'd want to tell you that, you know. So anyway, oh my gosh, you guys got so many new members. Thank y'all so much. 289 of you joined yesterday. How nice. Okay. So, because I'm going to be cutting on the diagonal or on the bias, as we say in garment sewing, I did on the chapel body fabric. Okay. Let me see. Did I need to do that on here? Oh, no, I did the wrong one. That's for the top. Where's the picture? Oh, I did the wrong ones. Y'all, on the chapel body fabrics, pay attention. That first church. Where's the picture? Where's the big picture? Does anybody have the big picture? I don't. Let's see here. Let me get these big old things out of the way. I just had that huge cardboard thing right here, and it grew legs and walked away. Where did it go? Isn't that amazing? Y'all, that happens to me all the time. Goodness. All righty. This first church right here, if you use their fabric, okay, this first church, just pay attention. It is directional. There are stems on the bottom of those flowers. That would drive me absolutely nuts had I not paid attention to this. If I had stems that were going sideways on my walls or something, that would make me crazy. So just look at these fabrics and make sure, because there are some directional prints, and that's really important. Okay, so I need to go through here and find, let's dig down in. Let's dig, shall we? I'm going to turn my camera just a little bit. You're on the iPad and still can't find the join button? I'm sorry. I know this fabric is just gorgeous. This fabric is from Fancy That House Designs. Oh, I love their stuff. They actually have iPhone cases made out of their designs that are just gorgeous. And I ordered one yesterday. It wasn't inexpensive, but it's a good case, and I need it because my case is old and it looks like it's going to fall apart very quickly. See, I need that bigger picture, that bigger piece of cardboard. Where did y'all, I just literally had that because this is hard to see on the pattern front. Do y'all know where that went? The triangle one is called a spike because it's supposed to have a small brain. That's hilarious. All right. So I'm looking at the fabric and it's the dark maroon, that dark maroon right there. And so I'm going to come here in my Yazzie bag. This is not one of the big new ones. Okay. And I'm going to find that dark maroon fabric that's going to go. And it looks like it's this one right here. This is it. There's a couple other pieces of dark. So this one has the flowers on it. That's not it. I think it's this one. That's why I wanted to find that big cardboard thing. I cut it off the front of the kit. Now, I don't normally starch my fabrics, but again, because we're going to be cutting on the bias, on the diagonal. Oh, here it is. Yay. Yeah, this is it. Right there. So this is that dark fabric. This is it here. And the top of it is a flying geese, but this up here has to use that ruler and that steeple. Okay. So because I'm cutting on the bias, I am going to be putting, I don't want to call it starch, but it is by Faultless. I use Magic Premium Quilting and Crafting Spray. This is the best stuff on the market as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't flake, it doesn't have a scent, and it does a great job. So I really, really like it. Hi, Candace. How you doing, my friend? East Texas in the house. Love it. So let's see. The pattern says to cut these steeples to 4.5. Okay. So got to pay attention to that too. And again, this is directional fabric. All right. So I want to make sure that the door, let me get the big one because it's easier to see. I want to make sure that, well, good. I'm glad you're good. The door and the steeple are going the same way, because that will make me crazy if I've got lines going one way on the steeple and lines going up and down on another way on the door. Again, think about that. A lot of new quilters are like, it's an after the fact, they cut it, they're happy with it, then they see it when it's all sewn together and they go, oh, how do I know that? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I am going to press this, okay? Usually I don't press with steam. A lot of quilters love to steam. I don't, because of my garment sewing days. I only use steam when I want to bend the fibers of the fabric to my will. So, like in a sleeve or something. I am using this, and see, it doesn't, it's just, it's so nice. And then when I iron, I only iron side to side or up and down. I don't iron diagonally when there is moisture or steam involved, because those fibers will, the fibers in the fabric will warp because you've gotten them wet. So I don't like to swish my iron, and you won't see me do a diagonal, okay? Now I'm doing this again because I am going to be cutting on the bias, and I don't want any kind of drama with fraying and just, or whatever. So now that I have gotten this wet, I'm going to let it cool. I've gotten it wet with the Faultless, or the Magic. That's by Faultless. That's the company. So I've gotten it wet. I'm going to let it cool. When you get fabric wet, quilting cottons, when you get them wet, they need to dry, because they're going to do back to the way they went, okay, the way they were. They're going to do that. You guys, know your textiles. That is the most important thing, a foundational thing that you need to know if you're going to be a quilter, okay? Because different fabrics do different things depending on how they're treated. That is so crazy important. All right. So somebody just asked, what is that? This is by Faultless Magic. Faultless is the company that owns it. Been around a million years, right? This is their quilting and crafting spray. I buy one of these bottles, and then I have the big bottle to refill it. Okay. So got to go. Okay. Have a good day, Diana. So just want to let you know about that. Hey, you guys, give the video a thumbs up. You're sitting there watching on your TV too. Grab your TV remote and hit the channel up button. I would appreciate that very much. So while this is cooling, okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut the side fabric, all right? You joined but don't see where to pay. Oh, then I don't think you joined, Debbie, because when you join, it's going to ask you. All right. Some people have a credit card on file already. I don't know. If you're already joined on other channels, I don't know how that works. So, okay. So let's get this. Now it says to cut a 4.5-inch strip out of this background fabric. Okay. So I'm going to do that over here. I got to move all this stuff out of the way. So I got some room to cut. Material magic is great too, Newligan. You're absolutely right. That makes your fabric come out feeling like paper. If you're going to be doing a lot of stars, diagonals, Material Magic is not a bad investment. So let's get this out and get it ready to go over there. I just really love that. Is this a folded? This is folded in half. Okay. I just really love that stuff because it doesn't flake like the spray can. Look at that. That didn't cut straight at all. Not a big deal. I need a 4.5-inch strip. So from the most narrow point, let me back you up so you can see. Hold on, I gotta move the light back so I can move the camera back. Look at all the new members. I know, yippee. All right. And it says 4.5. I'm going to go down to the most narrow piece on this very crooked here. So this is a little bit bigger than 4.5, and that's fine. Okay, now I got a straight edge to start with the next time, don't I? And before I do my final cut, I want to press this because it's full of wrinkles. So, all right, this ought to be cool. So again, when you get something wet and it's hot, let it dry before you cut it because it's going to shrink back to its original size. It has that nice kind of sizing in it from the spray, but it's going to shrink back. Spraying because it's going to be cut on the diagonal. I am not pressing in that center crease on the bolt fold and not pressing on the diagonal. Okay. You're just going to have better results on points if you use the spray and give it a little press first. All right. I'm going to let this cool a second, and then I'm going to trim that up. Okay, good. I love my shirt. I'm looking at it in the camera. I got this when we made this quilt last year. You remember that? That was nice. Okay, this thing is cooled. So let me get my 4.5-inch strip from here. Make sure these edges are even from that straight cut I just did. All right. Whoop. Yeah, that's right. 4.5. I got a problem. That is not wanting to stay straight. Yep, that fabric curves. Lay like I tell you. Okay. 4.5 inch strip right here. There we go. Okay. When you're using this Tri-Rex tool, you need to make sure you've got 2 pieces of fabric for your outer corners. Hold on a second. I need to cut that one too. Y'all, I'm just a nonstop mess right here. Let me get these. So, why am I so disorganized this morning? Why? Because I have too much stuff on my table. That's why. Too much stuff on my table that doesn't need to be here. That's causing me to be distracted. Too much stuff. Alrighty. So now I have managed to lose the other half of this tool. Ah! Grace. I'm going to ask the Lord for grace right now so that I don't get all wound up. Why did it go away? Where is it? Is it behind me? No. It's not with the instructions. Where did it go? Are you guys looking at it? Because I don't see it. Here it is. Oh, it's hiding. Okay. So this, I tell you to cut a 4.5. So this goes here, and you can tell that the tip of the ruler is right on the top of the 4.5. Now this piece here, see how they work like that. Now this piece right here has a tiny little nub right there, a little flat spot. If you can see it. Nope, you can't see it on that. Let me see. Can you see it on there? There's a tiny flat spot right here. That's really important. Make sure the romp cam, Dave, they have been expelled from the sewing room while I'm on the live. So that little cut is going to make sure that everything lines up straight the way you want it. Okay, so now on this one, so this is my background fabric. I'm going to set this aside for a second. This is my door and the top of my steeple. This one right here. Everything's been starched and cool. I need a 4.5. No, I don't. No, I don't. Maybe I do. How big is my door? And how big are my pieces? So let's see here. Align, let's see, make the triangle in a square units. And that is on page 6. Make the triangle in a square unit on page 6. So they don't give you the measurements in here. You have to come back here and look. So for E, let's see where that is. I was reading this last night. B, C, F, G, I, N. Where's the E? I can see it right here. Oh, and there's another thing here in here too I want to tell you in the pattern. I looked for pattern corrections last night, could not find it. Down here it says make 24 of these. No, you only need 12. So, okay. So I want to make sure I make these the right size. Yeah, so this finishes in a 4.5 inch square. All right, that's the steeple, and that finishes in a 4.5 inch square. So that tells me I need a 4.5 inch piece. That's what I thought. So I'm going to cut a 4.5 inch piece here, and I am not sure that the outer edge is straight, and it looks like it is not. Okay, so I'm going to cut a little tiny bit larger than 4.5. Pull it aside. And then turn it around. Mat on a mat is helpful if you like to do that. Okay. Now, when I'm done here with y'all, I will cut many of these at one time. All right. I'll cut a bunch of them at once. So now I need a 4.5-inch square of this. But I need to make sure it is straight on the flat edge. Again, make sure I'm looking at this directionally, you guys. So your natural inclination may be to take this and put it like this. And directionally, that's wrong on this fabric, because I want my door, I want these swirls on my door to be going up and down. Okay. So I'm going to make sure, matter of fact, it almost looks like it. I'm going to have all the top curves of these going the same way. You got to be careful of this. I'm telling you, it's crazy. They make it a challenge for sure. Okay, now I have a clean edge that is straight. So I'm going to cut my door, the top of the steeple now. And since this is a 4.5-inch square, I'm going to put this at the 4.5-inch mark down here. And you know what? I don't have enough fabric for the tips right there. I'll show you. Look at that. I goofed. I goofed. See how you can see the mat here in the corner? No. The pattern says to cut it to, let me back out. The pattern says to cut those strips to 4.5 and then trim, and maybe that works. I'm going to cut another one to 5 and then trim it out. How about that? I could probably make it work. All right. I'm going to cut this to 5, just to be sure. So that is the case with this pattern quite a bit. I have cut things a 1/4 of an inch or so larger than the pattern required, just to make sure, because of the way I make my half square triangles. Okay, so I've cut it just a tiny bit larger than what the pattern wanted, and then trimmed it down to fit. I'm a firm believer, half square triangles, 1/4 square triangles, make them a tiny bit larger, and then trim them to fit. So now on this, if I go to 4.5, I have a tiny bit on either corner, and it fits perfect. So, well, if I cut on the side, Paula, the direction of the fabric is wrong. I'll show you. Let me get in here so you guys can, well, I'll just pick it up and show you. This is directional fabric. Look at that. So yes, if you cut on the side, you're right. But if I can't, otherwise these swoopies are going to be all going, they're laying down, and I don't want that. I want my swoopies standing up straight. Does that make sense? That'll bother me. Yeah. So let me cut this. So this piece here goes to 4.5, and this is all right. So mat on a mat. Where is it? I have to turn this. And this is why you use a mat on a mat, because I can't cut upside down. So let me put this to 4.5. Hold it firm. Cut it sideways. Okay. Without moving it. There we go. Okay. So I got that. Oh yeah, that's going to make a pretty steeple. See that? It would drive you bonkers. I know, Carmi. You have to pay attention. I know, it drives you bonkers. All right, so now, and I'm also going to make sure that the door is cut going the same way. I got to pay attention to that. All right. And now on this one, you need to make sure, I'll cut these. These are 4.5. I hope that y'all, this fabric shifted. It didn't. Look at what it did. So part of this is not 4.5. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I am cutting 4.5 on where it's, all right. So now on this one, again, I'm going to go to the 4.5-inch line right here. You need to do it on 2 pieces of fabric, well, 1 piece of fabric on the fold. So it's folded. That's going to give you opposite facing Rex with your Rex tool. So I'm going to go to 4.5. Okay, I'm going to come this way. Oh, I moved it. That's okay. And these lines are thick on the ruler. Okay, and I'm going to make sure I cut that little tip. Okay. So this will be a rectangle like that. That's exactly how that's going to look. Now when you, let me get you in here. You can see, okay. All right. So when you sew these together like this, with these edges, that little cut is going to line up perfectly on the edge right there. And that's going to let you know. So this right here is going to be your perfect 1/4-inch seam all the way up. You have a little bit of triangle hanging off there. Okay. So let's go sew this together. Whoop, pardon me, I bumped you. Let's go sew this together. So your steeple is a single layer. Your Rex are a double layer. Okay. You think you bought those years ago? Carmi, I know. And believe me, so it said you needed the tri-rec. And I was like, oh man, I hate having, you know, specific rulers for those kinds of things. And step over the cords. So I went digging around in a very old stash of rulers in a room that in my old, very first sewing room, I had an old stash of rulers in there. Let me bring you down to size here. Down here with me. Careful. Hold on, everybody. We're moving. Okay. Okay. Do not exit the vehicle until it has come to a complete and full stop, right? Oh. Okay. Wee, I know, Smith. Wee. Okay. I need a pair of glasses. Let me turn on my Oliso Mini Pro. In quilting math, if you find it in your stash, does that make it free? Yes. So I saw the picture of the package of what they were talking about online, and I was looking at it and I was like, there's a memory in my brain somewhere that I have seen that. And y'all, I have no idea where I got that. As a matter of fact, I think somebody gave me a package of rulers that they didn't want anymore. And that was in there because I know I did not purchase this. But I found it in that old stack. Oh, look, I had my glasses were right here, y'all. Oh my gosh. Yep. Let's see here. Oh, I've got gray thread in the machine. That's all right. No big deal. Let me get you in. So in theory, I don't have the other camera out, y'all. In theory, this is supposed to all fit together nice and tidy. Let's give it a shot. How can we do this pattern if we don't have the panels? Will it look fun with solids? You know, scrapping, you might give it a try. You might. You know, I don't see why not. All right. So this, you know, when you're making these, it messes with your brain a little bit, but you have tiny end on the center and big ends on the outsides. So, okay. I'm just going to put this just like this, and I'm matching up that tiny little flat cut with the edge of the red fabric. Put it right here. I do not want this to shift at all. And y'all, everything's on the bias, so I'm going to pin. Pin, 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 pin. And all you need is a little bite. All right, let's see how this goes, how this looks. Yeah, I had gray fabric thread in here from when I did the binding on that t-shirt quilt. Definitely recommend pinning so that your steeple doesn't get pulled through faster than that background fabric. Right on point. Excellent. Okay. Is that dark fabric going to matter? Or thread? No, not at all. Not at all. I'll change it though before I do the rest of them. Okay, so this is in the way here. I'm going to go ahead. Again, you're on the bias. Be careful. I'm going to finger press very gently without pushing like that, okay? Finger press gently. Otherwise, you're going to get a wonky square. We don't want wonky squares. Okay, I'm going to press this now. I don't know how to be a member on the iPhone. Let's check it out. I don't know if I can go through and do that. So I think you would have to X out of the live chat for now. And then let's see. ... more. No, that's not going to do it. I don't know. I don't know if I have it. That's the description box. I don't see it. Don't see it. So yeah, tap that. And then you used to be able to switch. Now I can't see the chat on my phone. Oh well. I have not figured it out. Okay. So now that this has been finger pressed, the fabric knows where I want it to go. I'm going to press it with my mini iron. And I'm not going to use any kind of starch or anything. I don't have one over here anyway. I'm just going to make sure that I don't shove it. Y'all, it's on the bias, which means it's going to want to stretch and resist the urge to swish. Just press. So I guess if I had used the 4.5-inch strip, I would not have that little bitty point right there, but that's okay. I don't mind that a bit. That's going to be in the seam allowance. So let's get down here now and do this one. You need to press because these tips are going to overlap up here. Okay. And so now this one, make sure that that point, that flat spot goes exactly on the edge of the fabric and it matches up perfectly. Very nice. Again, pin. What happened to my YouTube? I just like this so I can see what you guys are seeing. I don't know what happened here. Well, That's gone. I guess I messed it up. Okay. I actually like that little bitty extra tiny point right there because it fits under the, I can see it and it fits perfectly under the presser foot without trying to drag in a small point. Need to make 12 of these, not 24 like it says in the pattern. My trimmer attitude. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay. So again, very gently, don't shove it. I'm so glad I had garment sewing skills before I started quilting. Oh my goodness. That has helped me so much. There are so many skills in garment sewing that overlap into quilting. So many. There. That looks good. I should have used the clapper on the first one, huh? So I do not recommend on these steeples to use this right now, okay, because there's a tendency to want to push that and it's going to change the shape of the block because it's on the bias. It's supposed to be 4.5 square. Let's check it out. That looks like it's 4.5. And it is a perfect 4.5 inch square. Perfect, perfect. Perfect 1/4 inch seam right there for the top of the steeple. It turned out beautiful. Turned out just beautiful. So, yes, always check pattern corrections. I couldn't find any. I went on the website of the lady who wrote the pattern and could not find pattern corrections there. I went out on Fancy That House Designs, who created the fabric. Couldn't find pattern corrections there. I looked at the Fat Quarter Shop. I couldn't find any. So if there are, yeah, you don't have to have, you got, okay, look here. Some people are confused right here. We can watch replays without the membership. You do it all the time. Yes, you do not have to be a member to watch my channel. No, you don't. There will be videos for snapplique lessons that are not live feeds that are available to members only. That's the way that's going to work. Okay. Yeah, it is frustrating. I know, because I looked, Charles, is it Charles 66? I looked and I spent a rabbit hole's time looking for pattern corrections last night. I don't know why it says make 24. If anybody can figure it out, that'd be great, but I don't know. I don't know. So you only need 12 because there's 12 churches in that. I don't know what you're going to do with those other 12 steeples. All right, you guys. So our hour is up. I just, I'm glad we got through this. This turned out to be perfect. 4.5 inch. I wish I had a square up ruler. Show you guys up close, but I'm just using my measurement here and it is perfect. 4.5. Matter of fact, I have a, let's see. What's this? How big is this one? This is a 5.5. There's a 5.5 creative grids. Let's look at this. Look at that. 4.5. On the money, y'all. On the money. Yay. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been a lot of fun. I'm really excited to do the rest of these now. I will see you guys tomorrow. Be sure to give a thumbs up. We will talk to you soon. You guys go sew something. Bye.